Hello Gametrollers, and welcome to a new video, and welcome to, well, first off, the last video of 2018 for me, and also my preview for the Doctor Who New Year special of 2019, Resolution. And also a bit of a review for Series 11. So, first off, I'm excited for Resolution. Seems like it might be good. The potential is definitely there with all the stuff that we've seen, and mixed with my imagination, it could be a classic. It could also be just Series 11 boring blandness. So basically Series 11 for me was basically just a huge disappointment. You know, we had a few good things. You know, we had some good stuff in there. We also had some bad stuff. But I think most importantly, which I think is the big problem with Series 11, is that there was just a lot, like 70% of it, a metric ton of just sort of nothing. Like, it was just stuff that wasn't good or wasn't bad. It was just dead nothingness, and I didn't like it. So that's the big thing with Series 11 for me. Is just the blandness of it. As I said, there was some good stuff. There were a few good episodes. Pretty much none of them were written by Moffat, by Chibnall. I'm still on Moffat now. But yeah, there's some good stuff. I mean, Resolution was written by Chibnall, so I mean, who knows? But yeah, I wasn't huge on Series 11. It was a big disappointment because they were like hyping it up, you know, big new creatures and stuff, and they said it was like simpler plots, even though they were simpler plots. But there's a difference between simple, right, which Russell D. Davies era, you know, compared to the Moffat era, the Russell T. Davies, you know, episodes were simple. You know, they were basic compared to the Moffat episodes, because Moffat just went balls to walls with just the craziness and the twists and the turns and the mysteries. Russell T. Davies era was pretty easygoing, right? Which Series 11 should have been easygoing, but instead of being easygoing, it just ended up just being easy. It was nothing. There was no complexity to any of it, really, and sometimes there was complexity in places it shouldn't have been. Forget Series 11, we're talking about Resolution. So, Resolution, coming out New Year's Day, which is about 5 days from now for me. Might be like tomorrow, depending on when I can upload this, but it could be after Resolutions come out. But it's a bit, it's exciting. As I said, there's some potential. So let's talk about it. So basically, the basic, I guess, plot synopsis, whatever, just from like the trailers and promotional material. Basically, a Dalek somehow found its way on Earth during the Middle Ages, 9th century. Somehow got like trapped, imprisoned, stuck, or whatever there, by a bunch of Viking Gaelic warrior people from like the 8th century, the 9th century, from the 800s and stuff. And then somehow it's managed to get out of its imprisonment in 2018. The army fights it, and then the Doctor does something, and stuff happens. That's basically all we got from like. That's basically all I got, really. So we don't know any of the intricacies of the plot or anything like that. Like, we don't know how the Dalek got stuck there, how the Doctor finds it, anything really. But I just want to take some time to talk about the Daleks. So Daleks have an interesting history, you know, at least on the new show. I think for the most part in the classic series, they were good. They were all right. You know, there's a reason they were the most iconic villain in Doctor Who, is because they were pretty good in the classic series. I've only seen 3 or or 4 Daleks. I've seen Resurrection, I think. No, it was Revelation. With Sixth Doctor. Day of the Daleks, I think, or Destiny. One of them. I think it's Destiny. Yeah, Day of the Daleks is for Doctor. Destiny with the Daleks, with the Malevolents and stuff. I've seen a little bit of Genesis. I haven't actually seen it properly, but I've seen like a reaction to Genesis. I've seen reaction of the first Dalek story with William Hartnell. I'm planning on watching Remembrance. I'm trying to get through Invasion with Second Doctor now, but I'm eventually gonna probably go to Remembrance, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, Daleks are good in classic series. The new series, bit of a different story. The Russell T Davies era, I think, is sort of the pinnacle of Dalek. All right, that's when they were good. You know, that's when they really hit the mark with the Daleks. All right, you know, every time we saw Dalek, no matter even if the episode was trash, which I don't think any Dalek story in the Russell T Davies era was absolute trash. I mean, I think the weakest is like the Evolution of the Daleks and Daleks in Manhattan. That two-parter was the weakest of the Dalek stories, and it's still, you know, on par with like the best Dalek story in the Moffat era. Right? Every time they showed up, it was like, oh my god, everybody's about to die. How are we gonna beat these things? Blah blah blah. Even though they were beaten very easily, if you think about it, like, in Dalek, it basically just forces it to commit suicide. In part of the ways, Rose just goes Super Saiyan with the time vortex, just melts all of them. Daleks in Manhattan, they literally just get shot by Tommy gun Dalek guns, people, half human Dalek things, and like 3 of them die just like that, and then the 4th one just teleports away, and then Journey's End, Donna goes cuckoo bananas and presses a bunch of buttons and causes the Daleks to wipe themselves out, basically. Even though they're defeated relatively like easily sometimes, well, not easily, but you know, some like it's kind of just like it's not super difficult. How it's always kind of like, and then the Daleks are gone. You know, that's pretty much that's pretty much what I can say about the Daleks. It's like, and then they're gone. But you know, every time they showed up, it felt like threatening. Like, how are we gonna defeat these guys? And you know, it helps that they were always in finales. But it's like, oh, it's always kind of like oh my god, we're in trouble. The gang is in trouble. What is gonna happen? Oh my god! Like that's what went through your mind with the Daleks. You know, they were really threatening. They're overpowered as balls. They were just crazy in the Russell T Davies era. Then Victory of the Daleks. And then Asylum of the Daleks. And every other Dalek story after that. Pretty much the most threatening the Daleks were is Dave the Doctor, Time of the Doctor, and they still were not very threatening in that. You know, so especially Day of the Daleks, because Day of the Daleks is literally just the Time War, so we already know they're gonna die, you know, that kind of thing. But there were some interesting ideas in the Moffat era. They were not threatening at all, you know, like they were not threatening. Like you saw them and you were kind of like, why doesn't the Doctor just like get rid of them like that? You know, like they didn't seem very strong in the Moffat era. They seemed very fallible and stuff. But there were some interesting ideas like Victory of the Daleks, you know, World War II. I'm really disappointed we didn't actually have like a Nazi versus Dalek scene. Like that would have been cool, but whatever. You know, like World War II, you know, like disguised, trying to trick the Doctor into making a new set, blah blah blah, you know, that kind of thing. That was an interesting idea. It was just not executed well at all. Then Asylum, again, a pretty interesting idea. So like a planet where the Daleks stick all their like injured and like crazy, like messed up Daleks, and they stick them there, and then like the Doctor, like they force the Doctor to like blow it up or whatever, even though they have to, I forgot, like they have to turn off the shields and stuff and blah blah blah, but it's kind of like weird how the Daleks are just like, save us, like, I don't know. To me, at least, besides the Doctor, the Daleks should fear nothing. But I guess crazy versions of themselves is yeah. But Asylum, and also the Amy and Rory thing, kind of just completely intruded on the whole plot, really, and it was just didn't make sense, and it was resolved literally in the one episode. So it was basically just there to add time, to fill space. But yeah, Asylum wasn't very good. I mean, Into the Dalek again, interesting idea of like shrinking down to enter a Dalek the Dalek armor thing and stuff like that. Interesting idea, and also like a good anti-Dalek. You know, that was also an interesting idea. Slightly executed better than Victory in Asylum. Still kind of, you know, it was the second episode too, which means it's kind of like a throwaway episode if you really think about it. And then, you know, of course, the big one from the Moffat era, being Magician's Apprentice and the Witcher's Familiar, even though it was more of a Davros story, and the Daleks they weren't really much in that two-parter themselves, but, you know, Davros was the main focus, obviously. And, you know, Davros, Daleks, pretty much the same boat, so good Dalek story, you know, probably the best one since the Russell T Davies era, and they pretty much just cameo a lot in other episodes, like Pandora Opens in the Big Bang. You know, they were in the Weathering of River Song. They were in the pilot with the Movellans and stuff like that. So, yeah, interesting ideas. They just were not executed well, and they were also just not very cool or threatening in the Moffat days. They were kind of just like, yeah, Moffat didn't really do them much good. They were kind of disrespected. So here we are, the third era of Who. You know, pretty much all new stuff. You know, it definitely feels different. You know, it feels new, fresh, if I guess you could say. So I'm hoping that Chibnall has some interesting ideas for the Daleks and stuff. Like, if anything, they said they got a new design. I hope the Dalek gets reworked. Basically, just any idea you have for the Dalek, just give it to it. You know, like just like give it new weapons, a new skill set. Give it a new well, obviously not voice, but like give it some new stuff. Give it some more interesting stuff. Make it feel threatening, like it could actually destroy the world if it wanted to, or like if it was allowed to, it could just kill everything on the planet. You know, which I'll get to that when I get into the actual sort of plot. But like, just make it feel threatening. Give it some interesting ideas. You know, do a merger of like the Russell T Davies era and the Moffat era, because I mean, granted, the Russell T Davies era did have some interesting ideas for the Daleks, but for the most part, they were just like, hey, we're here to kill everybody, but in more interesting ways. Whereas, you know, Moffat era dive deeper into sort of like, they're not just gonna kill everything. There's like an extra layer to them. Like, we're trying to build new Daleks. We're trying to get rid of the crazy Daleks. We're trying to, you know, there's a Dalek that's killing Daleks. You know, there's just on Skaro. There's interesting ideas there. You know, they weren't just like, we're gonna kill everything. So I want a merger. I want the interesting ideas of Moffat and concepts of Moffat with like the threatening nature of the Daleks from the Russell T Davies era. Basically, do a better version of Daleks in Manhattan, because Daleks in Manhattan had the cool idea, you know, making human Daleks and stuff like that, and you know, it's being in like 1930s New York and stuff, and you know, building the Empire State Building and all those interesting ideas, but executed better. Which, granted, it's Chibnall, so there's gotta be no threat, and like Daleks is just gonna be an allegory for some thing, allegory for some like political thing, and like it's gonna die easily, and it's not gonna look cool, and the dialogue is just gonna not be interesting for the Dalek. You know, like we're not gonna have another Dalek Cyberman pissing contest again. But I mean, I have faith. All right, this is the last one for like a whole year. Go balls to the wall. Go crazy with the Daleks. Just get all the interesting ideas and stuff you could do with the Daleks. Just go and do it. The only thing is don't make him human again. Like I just want another pure bred Dalek. I don't want none of this human stuff again. Like that's the only sort of area I don't want this Dalek to sort of get into. And I'm assuming it's just the one Dalek too. Like it's not gonna be like an entire army, but yeah. Like I want some interesting ideas, and obviously it's probably gonna be some separation from the Time War. I'm assuming there's probably gonna be like a classic Dalek, or maybe like another version of Dalek, but that's still the Dalek, but not like I want some interesting ideas. You know, a little bit of separation from the Time War, not too much, maybe. Like still have it be like a we fought in the Time War and blah blah blah. But I wanted some new stuff, some new ideas and stuff like that. You know, separated itself from sort of the rest of the show while keeping the stuff. But yeah, basically just don't make it human. Just do everything else with the Dalek. You know, make it teleport, suck people's blood. I don't know, something, something. All right, do something interesting, please, please, Chibnall, please. But anyways, the actual plot. I'm gonna need to pull something up here real quick. All right, so I got the whole cast pulled up here. So we got a character called Lynn. We got a character called Mitch. Got a character called Aaron. We got a cop called Will. We got a security guard called Richard. We got a farmer called Dinkle. Got just a chick called Mum. So I'm assuming she's gonna be the mother of some character. And we got like two random teenagers, a chick called Polly, and a sergeant. So yeah, I go on the BBC UK stuff, check out the cast and stuff. Interestingly enough, I don't think Nicholas Briggs is listed anywhere here with the Dalek. So even though they've revealed the Dalek is gonna be in it, it's gonna be a bit weird how it's weird how it's not listed here, but whatever. So you know, I think the main three are Lynn, Mitch, and Aaron. I think Lynn and Mitch we see in the promotional material and stuff. Like they're like the two side characters you see with the main crew, and of course the entirety of the main crew is back. Of course, none of them died. You know, we all hoped Graham wouldn't die, but honestly, after watching Battle for Round Score AFCO lost, we do wish Graham had died to give that episode something. But yeah, so Lynn and Mitch, no idea who these characters are. Like, I generally don't know anything about like what's going on with the plot. I'm assuming they're like a couple because I think they hold hands in one of the pictures. You may have seen it already. It may be on screen right now. It may be on screen in a few seconds. I don't know. But yeah, just from the cast, it seems a bit interesting. But the plot is a bit. I don't know. Like, I really don't know. Like, my big thing is, right, it's supposed to be, like, stuck on Earth since the 9th century. So that means those, like, sword-wielding middle age... Oh, middle age. Forgot the word. Medieval soldier, warrior people are supposed to kill this Dalek. I mean, granted, we've never seen a Dalek get like hit with a sword. I mean, we've seen them get hit with a bat, but you know that was a classic series where they didn't have like bullet melting shields and like overpoweredness. But I mean, like we've never seen them get hit with a sword before. So potentially, the sword is where it's at. You just have to go all 360 around this Dalek and like chop it over the head. But so it's gonna be a bit weird sounding, you know, like how are they gonna trap it? Like what's the gimmick with this Dalek here with the plot, and like what's it gonna do, you know? Like is it just gonna go around the place murdering everything? Like what's the idea with this Dalek? And where do Lynn and Mitch fit in? Like best guess they're like more neighbors of Yasmin, or like it's either that or like they work for the army or maybe even unit, possibly. Who knows? Um, of course, the big theory I see going around is that the character called Aaron, played by Daniel Adegboyega. It's Boyega with a deg at the beginning. Adegboyega, whatever. Is supposed to be playing Ryan's dad. So I mean, Ryan and Aaron, that does there is a bit of a similarity there in the names too. So who knows? Maybe maybe he's gonna be playing his dad. But I hope it doesn't intrude with the plot, like with the Dalek plot at all. Like I hope it's just like one or two throwaway scenes or something, or like one little scene at like the end where like Ryan and Graham and all the whole crew are like somewhere celebrating New Year's, and then he shows up and then Ryan punches him. I don't know, something. I hope it just doesn't intrude with the Dalek plot at all. But yeah, I don't know what like's going on with the plot or anything, like who these two characters are or anything like that. I'm just too lazy to really dig any deeper, but I'm assuming they don't really have anything on these characters just yet. You know what? I'm gonna check it real quick. Yeah, I've done a little bit of digging. I really couldn't see anything on these two characters, but yeah, I just wonder what role they're gonna be playing in the episode and stuff like that. Got a bunch of extra characters too, so do I recognize anybody here? Not immediately. Also, a new director who wasn't in Series 11 or I think any previous Who, so that's gonna be interesting. It does look really good. Like the trailer for the episode did look really cool. So, yeah, I just want it to be good. That's pretty much all I want. We don't have any more Who. If this episode is good and the Dalek is good, at least we'll have sort of the Dalek and the potential of Series 12, and maybe we'll get more of the Stenza, because I did actually kind of like the overall race and species of the Stenza. Tim Shaw was a bit not good, but the Stenza was interesting. But yeah, I do hope that this episode is good. Like, it has to be good. Like, if it isn't good, then like, well, that's pretty much it. Like, it's gonna kill it. I hope the viewership is good. At the very least, the viewership should go up a little bit, because it's a New Year special. Like, I'm hoping potentially 8 million or 9 million, like, consolidated. I think that's it. Yeah, the viewership should go up for this too. So, if it isn't good, yeah, but of course the momentum is just gonna be completely dead, because we have to wait a whole year. Like, even if this I'm pretty sure even if this episode is like the best thing ever, it's gonna be hard. The wait is gonna be it's just as hard as if it's gonna be an absolute pile of trash. In fact, the wait will feel not that bad if it's a pile of trash, whereas if it's really, really good, you're gonna be like, okay, I really just want to see what Chimel can do for Series 11, for Series 12 now, please come back. So it probably will be beneficial if the episode is bad, but yeah, like, this episode is gonna determine my faith in the series, and pretty much the big thing for us, the Doctor's got a scarf, blah blah blah. If once she encounters the Dalek, and like she doesn't have that fire, or if she does have that fire but I just don't feel it, then I'm pretty sure I think 13's just like done. Like, I'm just gonna be like, okay, you're cool and all, but I mean, I'm just waiting for the regeneration at this point, like, which is, I don't think I've done that for any Doctor, really. Like, pretty much all the classic Doctors I've seen, like, I've immediately loved, like, all the new Who Doctors, besides, like, David Tennant, but I still liked David Tennant a lot, in Series 2. I didn't like Series 2, didn't really like 10 in Series 2, but, like, I still did like 10, whereas 13 is kind of like, okay, you're cool, but, I'm not gonna miss you. Like, if the Dalek shoots you and then you turn into Chris Marshall, I'm not gonna be super depressed or even excited because I don't really care about Chris Marshall. You know, like so yeah, Resolution. It should be good. It should be exciting. It should be fun. Again, the Doctor's got a scarf. It's a bit weird. It kind of is a bit of a rainbow design going on, even though it's like blue on one side and then rainbow on the other. From what I can see, it's a bit weird looking. It's a bit weird, but yeah, the Doctor's got a scarf again. You know, I do hope she has it for like the rest of her run. It's not just for the special. You know, like it would obviously feel more special if it's just in the New Year special, but you know, it's been it'll be it'll be cool. I feel like that's the missing piece of her costume at this point. It's just the scarf. Like if she has a scarf, boom, she's just complete. She's like there's not it's just you know, it's that extra layer the scarf adds. And it's also relatively colorful too. Keep the scarf, get rid of the stripes on her shirt. That's what I want. But yeah, that's probably it for this. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me if you're excited for Resolution. What do you want from Resolution? I just want it to be a good time, for the Daleks to be interesting, and for the Doctor to actually be good, like better than she's been the entire series and stuff. Like, I just want this episode to be like the best thing ever. If it isn't the best thing ever, I'll be extremely disappointed. But if it's just bad, I'm just gonna like throw my computer away. But yeah, I'll see ya in the new year. I've got some interesting ideas for videos and stuff. So yeah, troll on. Oh baby! Happy New Year, guys, and also a late Merry Christmas. See ya.